This week on the Mining Your Business podcast, we talk about the framework for telling better stories and building better ads. Welcome to the Mining Your Business podcast. I'm CJ Jolliffe with everybody's favorite co-host,
Aaron.
Aaron.
Aaron. It's easier to remember.
You're wearing a hat today, sir.
Very
this is
often,
an odd thing. This is not normal for you.
It is not. So I left the house a little bit early, so I didn't brush my hair today, and it looks a little slick back, and so I'm not okay with that. So I'm gonna have to keep this hat on. But this wasn't the intended hat.
This is an accepting place. You can just be you.
Yeah. Well, this wasn't the intended hat for this ensemble, which is not really an ensemble. But I went this morning to go pick up a new hat, and so I left early to run by a yard sale right by my house.
Wait.
And I know how that sounds.
Hang on a second.
Yard sales don't sell new hats. I get you. But okay. Two things need to be remembered. Number one is almost all of my hats I've gotten from somebody else. My brother-in-law will buy a hat and he's like, I don't really like it. It doesn't fit right. It's not the right color, not something. Whoop. So I snatch it. So I end up paying him for it. I buy the hat. But I don't think I've been to the store and bought a hat. I don't know, 15 years. Like when I get hats, I get them from places. Well, I don't typically go to yard sales and be like, oh, let me find this old filthy ass hat, but
oh, look, it's got sweat marks.
Yeah. Our neighbor works at something, one of these outdoory places.
REI? Cabela's?
No, but she did have some of that stuff. She had REI, a bunch of camping type stuff and outdoor something. North Face, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Don't quote me. I had a bunch of stuff from there, but because they get it in bulk and on clearance and they work there, or I don't know, work somewhere where they get discounted stuff. If I was a medium, dude, I would have spent $300, $400, $500. They had jackets, brand new jackets with the tags on them still, mediums and smalls.
Come on.
For, $15, $12.
Wow.
$10. And there, you look at the price tag on them, $249, $185, super awesome jacket, and really awesome jackets. Where I was like, maybe if I lose, but I couldn't lose enough weight to fit in there. And I was just like, they had she had a bunch of shorts, really nice ones, size 30 or 36s. Neither one of those, so I didn't get any of them. So anyway, she had a box of hats.
That's why you get the 36s and you just grow into them. You just
grow into it.
Let yourself go.
I just got myself from a 35 back to like a 33. And so I'm like, no, I'm shooting for 32. Love to be a 30. Then I could go back over there and get a bunch of clothes. But she had a box of hats, a bunch of beanies, and then a bunch of baseball caps. And yesterday she had a bunch that were like North Face and REI and all the different camping places. And I'm like, yeah, I'm okay to wear that logo. But when I got there, they were all those were sold yesterday. When my wife went, she saw a bunch, was like, well, I didn't know which color or what you would want. So we'll go back today. And I went back today and she had sold them. So all there was a bunch of sports ones.
Which you are a huge sports fan.
Huge move the ball down the field, or court or whatever. Person.
Yeah.
So I didn't end up getting one. But I did order a couple of hats. My brother-in-law, again, another brother-in-law. So second brother-in-law just brought a hat with him from California. He's like, these are the new best hats. I go, cool, I'll take one. He insists he gave me one, but I know he didn't because I don't have it. I would be wearing it today. But he's like, no, I gave it to you because it's there. But I noticed that my other brother-in-law, his brother, is wearing one. And I'm like, I think he gave you the hat, not me. I think you have my hat. And he's like, nope, this is my hat. So anyway, we looked them up online. They're like $10. I go, for $10, I'll buy it. So I ordered a couple of hats. Of course, they did a good job. They said, any order 50 or more, free shipping. Because otherwise it was $8.99 shipping. And I'm like, that's basically the cost of a hat. So I ordered 2 hats. He ordered 3 hats. And we're going to get them.
Nice.
Coming in. So I'm waiting on the hats. But I was hoping to have a new hat for today, and I didn't. And so this is why this old faded painting hat I'm wearing today.
Well, I'm sure you haven't told us what kind of hat it is, but I'm assuming it's like a straight out of Compton hat.
Oh God, I have no idea. There's a C on it, which I'm certain came from my brother-in-law who likes Cabela's, so I'm guessing it's that maybe. I don't know. He buys his hats from Big Five, Cabela's, Bass Pro Shops, those kind of places.
Well,
So
that is our territory right here. If
yeah.
if people don't know, like Bass Pro Shops was like founded in Springfield, Missouri, where we live just outside of it. We live in a bedroom community outside of Springfield. It started in a like the guy that started, his name's Johnny Morris. He started selling bait and tackle out of his dad's Brown Derby. It's a liquor store, and it started as like an end cap, and then it grew to an
Right.
aisle, and then eventually he had his own shop and all the things. And now, like, I forget how many years ago they bought Cabela's.
Oh, I did notice that.
There are a lot of Bass Pros all over the nation. They also own, like, properties. They have Tiger Woods has designed one public golf course, and it was a like combination, not combination. He did it with the guy that owns Bass Pro. It's like,
Oh,
was it called
okay.
Payne's Valley? Because Payne Stewart is from Springfield. The guy that he was a pro golfer that died back in late '90s, early 2000s.
Okay.
Anyway, Johnny Morris is a billionaire with a B, and he has done very well. And it all started in his dad's liquor store, which is,
That's
I don't know,
that's a
man.
that's a
That
pretty
just gets
awesome
me revved up. I love it so much.
pretty awesome story.
I don't think I'm accidentally going to become a billionaire, but
You never know.
one of the one of the things that's really interesting is, like, I've been aware of Bass Pro for years, and I mean, since I was like 10 years old.
Right.
But I remember things like, the cartoon King of the Hill
Yeah.
would have been late '90s, early 2000s kind of thing.
Right.
There were like certain episodes where the main character, Hank Hill, he's wearing like a Bass Pro Shops hat. It's a white Bass Pro Shops hat, and it's like you just can't miss that logo.
Right.
Like, that was a deep cut. Now in the last few years, like, you'll see a lot of like social media influencers wearing Bass Pro hats and that kind of stuff. But
Right.
what's funny is those Bass Pro hats are like $5.99. You go into the store,
Uh-huh.
and they have one specific version that is like super cheap. And it's like more of like a traditional baseball cap where it's the 5 panel, or is it
Huh.
6 panel? I don't know, whatever it is. It's the one that's more rounded. It's not a flat bill, and it's got
Right.
like the summer netting instead of being like a full cloth.
Right.
Um, and so I know they're probably selling those things at a loss.
Yeah,
Because
most
if
likely.
you move up to one that's just a little bit different, a little bit nicer, they're instantly $16, and then they go up to 40. Like,
Right.
it's a really, really good move, and they've got us talking about it. So
Yeah, for sure. So at the yard sale, I did pick up
what is this?
this little thing hanging on my shelf. Boop. It's a little at symbol cut out of wood.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a sleeping bag, like a little.
Yeah, no, it's coiled up. It's just the at symbol. I got to rearrange this shelf anyway, but I liked the way the brown looks,
Yeah,
so I wanted something wood on here.
you just need to throw a
Got
little
it for
light
a
on it.
buck.
Nice.
Got it for $1, so I'm real happy with that. So anyway, as you guys noticed, I painted, getting this look down a little bit. I got the dimmer finally
Yeah,
for the light,
yeah.
which
It's
looks
not
a lot
blowing out in the
better.
background anymore. It's nice.
Yeah. Probably. Well, no, you may not have noticed. So last
No,
week, I
is
think
that a
it's
fish tank or is it a terrarium?
it's a fish tank.
Okay, nice.
I say that tongue in cheek. It's supposed to be a fish tank. I put fish in it last Saturday. Saturday, I think. Saturday or Sunday. I put some fish in it. I was really excited. I'm like, here we go. One has already died. I came in this morning and I put 3 little guppies and one little, it looks like a Picostomus, but they call it a bristle something. Anyway, it's a little miniature algae sucker looking fish.
Yeah.
And one guppy died already, and I was really sad. And then I came in this morning and I'm like, hey guys, how you doing? And there's one just swimming like this. And I'm like, you're on your way out. Okie doke. So I think I'm gonna end up having to have the water tested again. I swear this is like, I think what I might do is no longer grow fish, and I'll just call it a water plant thing.
Well, I was gonna say, you
Just
could get
grow plants,
coral.
'cause
You know,
I do okay with the plants. The plants will
Yeah.
take over, and I ended up having to pull and throw away 90% of the plant matter that filled this tank up. And I
Yeah.
thought, well, I'm gonna let that do that. for like I let it go for 4 months, and this bright green one completely encased the entire thing. And I was like, there now, it's purified the water, it's cleaned it, it's got it, it's aerated, it's everything should be fine. So I pulled out all the other plants and then I cleaned it, got it looking good. I didn't flush the water, nothing. Like it's still there. It should have been okay. And it's not. But I find that I used to have a 100-gallon tank, no problems. A 10-gallon tank's like you sneeze in the room and everything dies. Like it
Yeah.
is amazing. I can't do it. So, but I think it looks cool. So
It looks
whether
very
you're
cool.
pitching it or not, I don't know. It's just gonna have to be what it is.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, my
but
setup is nowhere near, which by the way, your whole setup looks really great. Lighting's
thanks. I
really
yours is getting better. I really do
yeah,
like that
slowly
lamp.
but surely.
A
I
lot
have the
better.
whiteboard. I do have a whiteboard. It's a 4x6 whiteboard. It needs to be put on the wall.
Uh-huh. I'd
Um,
like to see a little warmer lights in the lamp, just
I mean, I can change that. You want me to change
because
that?
the blinds are the bright white, the sunlight.
I
You
mean,
could warm
don't
those up
don't
just a bit.
don't don't say like don't give me ideas because I'll do that right now. I don't even need a reason. Like let's see. We're gonna go super warm. How about that?
Oh, that's much better.
Yeah. Does that make you happy?
Yeah. Yeah, that's so warm, it's almost red. I like the yellowy,
You
but
want a
yeah,
little
that's still
brighter?
really nice. Man, that's just better because the bright harsh white of the marker board and then the harsh white, I think that helps pull it.
I also
Anyway,
have a TV cart um that's on wheels. And
right
so um that's probably gonna end up going. I'll roll
there.
it out when I want to use it. Let's see. So let's
Okay.
say like today, I mean, obviously I can share my screen and I can share my iPad and that kind of stuff. But I was just thinking like it'd be nice to have like, I don't know, the
Screen
logo
just
on the
over
shoulder.
your shoulder doing
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Exactly. But also it's dual purpose. So I don't know if we haven't really talked about this on the podcast, but it's I can't hide it anymore. I have a steering wheel, a racing wheel on my
Uh-huh.
desk here. I have pedals underneath, and my friend of mine a couple years ago, he warned me, and he's like, "I'm going to get you into something," and I'm like, I'm above the peer pressure. But he introduced me to sim racing, and the problem is, it's not. It's kind of like golf. I don't know how much fun it is, but it's like I can race against myself. I mean, of course, I like to race against him because he was way better than I am, and now I'm kind of keeping up with him. I beat him a few times in some races, but it's a challenge, and it's about focus, and it's about improvement, and so just little things, and honestly, focus. So just like golf, like I'm not very good at it, but um, I can get a little better. And those little micro improvements
Right.
seem to make a big difference. And sometimes everything just like works, and you're like, "What did I do?" And other times, it just no matter how
Right.
hard you try, it doesn't work. So it's
Right.
been a lot of fun. So anyway, that rolling cart thing, um, I'm
Is
trying to clear off my desk because that's taking up that racing wheel is taking up a little bit of space. Now I can move it out of the way and everything, but I would rather it have a stand or a chair that it fits on, and I can just
uh-huh.
fold it up out of the way, move it out of the way. But he's trying to start a league and stuff. So
Okay.
um, it's typically something like a Friday night we'll go through. We've been going through a season of F1 where
Okay.
we're going through all the tracks, and it's not like we just like show up for a race. I mean, you spend about an hour and a half practicing, learning the track, trying different setups. It's really intense. It is simulation. It is not arcade. I heard someone
Okay.
talk about this the other day. Where it was like they were showing Cat Williams. Cat Williams is a sim racer. The comedian.
Mhm.
Um, and it is not a game. It's not fun. It's just it's simulation. So, but
Right. It's an exercise in frustration
that's
and
right, right. And but there's also community there, and I think that's the big thing. Is like you
okay.
know, uh, I've never really been into video games that you just isolate and play. For me, I mean, I think, our age, like video games were like you'd go to someone's house and you'd even if it wasn't
Yes.
two player, you'd sit on the couch and you'd try to beat the thing and you'd take turns and
Right.
and so that for me is the community, the camaraderie, that's what I find interesting. And so anyway, all that to say, the cart would also work for that, where I can just kind of, and then also I can have, instead of a 43-inch screen, I could do like I have a 60 or 65,
Put a
on
big one back there.
YouTube.
Yeah, yeah. So
Anyway, so yeah,
we've been
it's not
rambling.
grown up things, but these are the things that I do with my spare
Yeah.
time. So
So we've been rambling a bit. What's on the agenda?
other than my wife calling me right now, uh, I have a few things that I want to go over.
Okay.
And I have notes too. So to keep me focused, let's pull up the notes. So one thing, like I think it was 2 episodes ago, um, we had Eric Yoon from 10 Mile Marketing on, and he'd
Mhm.
talked a little bit about he called it an equation. I would call it maybe a framework or a template
Okay.
for an ad.
Right.
And we have talked about this before on the podcast. I don't remember when it was, but is simply, interrupt, engage, educate, offer. And the
Right.
idea is an interrupt, you're breaking those beta brainwave patterns, right?
Right.
Or like uh, just getting their attention, right?
Mhm.
So something out of the ordinary. That's why like if you think of like Super Bowl commercials, they get more and more obnoxious and they get weirder and weirder. It's because they're trying to get your attention. But
Right.
I think that you can go too far, and then
Yep.
you like it's all weird. It's all interrupt, but it hasn't like moved people any closer to purchasing. I mean, it's memorable and it may be something you talk about, but
Right.
like the Budweiser frogs going, Budweiser, like
Right.
never caused me to buy Budweiser. So like it's very memorable, but
Right.
so I would say that was an ineffective ad. I mean, it was great branding.
Sure.
Anyway, so interrupt, you kind of break those brain waves. Engage is like, I'm going to tell you kind of like, a speech, model where I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you. Then I'm going to tell you, and then I'm going to tell you what I told you, a little bit of that.
Okay.
So that's kind of like engage, and educate is where the meat and potatoes are.
Okay.
Engage would be kind of like, here's what I'm going to tell you, and kind of get them on the hook. Educate
Right.
is actually fulfilling that. And then
Okay.
offer, you should never do anything, even a YouTube video, without having some kind of call to action. So,
Okay.
um, so that's kind of where, Eric was coming from. And it's something that I was taught years and years and years ago. Um, I want to talk a little bit about the hero's journey framework.
Okay.
Um, and so like, I know you're familiar with this. I'm
Right.
sure other people are. And there's, this is specifically coming at it from a story branding perspective, right?
Okay.
So in the hero's journey, there's typically 4 characters. There's the hero,
Sure.
there's the victim, there's the villain, and then there's the guide. And so
Mhm.
the essential framework or template would be, um, there's a victim that can't help themselves, and the hero comes along, and then they're stuck, maybe, but they need to get from where they are to someplace else, a better place, or overcome something, right? And a lot of
Right.
times that has to do with the victim. So um, maybe they have to
Okay.
go up against a villain, or the villain can just be a problem, not necessarily a character. But
Right.
the guide comes along and helps the hero overcome the thing, helps the hero
Correct.
help the victim. And I think
Right.
that there's a misunderstanding of that story branding hero's journey idea where people try to position themselves as the hero, and so that's not what we're actually trying to do. If we do that, here's the problem with doing that. The victim, the only role of the victim in the story is to make the hero look good. So if we're the
Right.
heroes, then our customers are the victims, and they haven't grown through the story. They haven't achieved anything. All we've done is made ourselves look good. You used our customer to make ourselves look good. So that is not what we're trying to do. What we're trying to do is personalize this and make our customers, our clients, the hero. So we are actually the guides. So our goal is to help the hero, help the customer overcome whatever that problem is, so that they can be the hero. And at the end of the day, they have the happy ending. So
Okay.
in combining, the typical pattern framework would be, you introduce a problem, then you make that problem seem even worse by eliciting an emotion, right?
Okay.
Really
Yep.
digging in
You
and like,
agitate it. Right.
and then you position your product or service as the solution, and
Yep.
then talk about the happy ending that you have after, experiencing that.
Using it or
Yeah.
experiencing
So
it. Okay.
that idea, like, is great, but how does it combine with that interrupt, engage, educate, offer framework? So today,
Right.
like, I'm pulling back the curtain and
Okay.
showing you.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
I
So
agree because honestly, like I see the hero's journey as a 90 to 120-minute journey. And I see an ad as a 15 to I'll tell you, it's realistically 15 to maybe 30 seconds. When I'm watching ads on YouTube or on something, the ad will come on and I'm like, "Oh my god, go." And if it's a skippable, I can make it through the first 10 seconds and skip. Now, I will say there have been a few, and I'm not an ad watcher. There have been a few ads where I'm like, and I'll make it through 20, 30 seconds of it.
okay.
But when they stretch too long, I'm like, okay, you lost me. Like there comes a
Right.
point where it's too long. And it's like you really need to kind of get to the point. Is there time in a 30-second ad to do that entire sequence?
Well, you tell me. I'll read you some examples.
Okay. Fantastic.
So let's talk about the actual like pieces first, and then I'll give you a couple examples.
Okay.
How about that?
Perfect.
So in combining them, the order, we got to start with interrupt, right? Because we have to get
Yeah.
their attention.
Right.
So interrupt, problem, emotion, solution, happy ending, offer. So that engage, educate is where we're stacking in problem, emotion, and solution. Right?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So we're keeping basically, I mean, honestly, we're keeping that problem, emotion, solution, happy ending piece, and we're wrapping it in the bookends of interrupt and offer, if that makes any sense.
Yep. Okay. I gotcha.
So here, I thought of an even better one that I want to pull up. Okay. Give me just a second. I have to find which drive it's in. Well, tell me your experience while I'm trying to find it. Tell me your
Okay.
experience with the hero's journey because I know you have some too.
Yeah. Well, just when I started trying to learn about it, I realized like reading and listening to all the different examples. My God, almost every popular movie out there is the same story over and over and over.
Right.
Like, it was really interesting. I saw this little snippet thing on Star Wars, Harry Potter, The Matrix. Of course, my brain is farting now because I'm on the hook. But there was 5 different stories, and all of them were like cookie cutter. And they were like, this is this person, this is this person. And they put all the people, like this is the guide, this is the villain, this is
Yeah.
the protagonist, this is the antagonist, this is the like, here's the thing they learned. Here's the point in the story where they discovered the secret. This is where they learned how to do it and overcome it. And then here's how they used it to, beat the bad guy or do the thing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's over and over and over and over. Like it is the same
It really is.
thing. But really, what's interesting is if you look at it from the psychological side, it makes perfect sense because we like the underdog. We like the overcomers. We like to have people win at the end. And we love to believe that good conquers evil. And we also want to see ourselves as the hero. So we want
Right.
to project ourselves into that. And of course, the fact that it's in a templated, scripted thing, it goes from this phase to this phase to our brains love patterns. So when we see that, we get excited. We're in step 1, but our brains start to anticipate step 2's coming. And then when it's revealed, we get excited. And step 3, step 4, step 5, the payoff.
Yeah.
And so I think the interrupt is interrupting our normal daily grind, but to say, watch this pattern that's about to come. And so I think that is a really great interrupt. Too often people think, no, an interrupt is to make you go, what?
Yeah.
It's
Right.
not.
Right.
It's
Right.
to make you anticipate what's coming next. It's to where
Yeah.
you have to not look away because you have to see what's coming. And
Yeah, which is
so
why, like, if you ask a question as an
people then
interrupt,
want to know the answer. And then you're
yeah,
like, wait,
yeah.
what is the answer to that?
So
Yeah.
here is an example of that. And like this won't have a offer on the end, but assume that it would have an
Okay.
offer as a button or something, you know.
Okay.
Um, but this is for rest of the week. So
Okay.
it should be less than 30 seconds. You can time me if you'd like, but
Okay.
here we go. Who wants to drink coffee that tastes like Aunt Janet's ashes? Unless you're a coffee grower, finding great tasting fresh coffee can feel impossible, and brewing at home is even harder. Store bought coffee is stale, mainstream coffee lacks flavor, and mass produced coffee has mold. You shouldn't have to be a barista with a coffee farm in your backyard to make great coffee. At Roast of the Week, we not only roast fresh coffee from different origin every week, we also share simple brewing tips to help you up your barista game at home. We roast in small batches and hand select each origin. It's never mass produced or moldy and arrives at your doorstep at the peak of freshness. You won't need a $10,000 espresso machine to experience the full flavor of freshness. Imagine your morning coffee being so good that you actually look forward to your alarm clock. No ashes, just joy.
Okay. That's good.
So it's not
That's actually
perfect,
pretty
but
good.
and it was definitely not a
Yeah.
great read, but um, that is an example. I'll give you another one. Let's see. So this is let's see that one. This is not going to have a interrupt.
Okay.
This would be like the pieces in the middle. So the hero's journey without an interrupt and without an offer because we haven't decided that yet.
Okay.
So this is real estate. This one's gonna be a little longer because it's really appealing to three markets at the same time:
Okay.
buyer, seller, or investor.
Okay.
But then we take this. This is our main thing, right? We take it, and then for an individual ad, an individual market, we cut the the whole and give it like three different pieces. So
Okay.
understand this is the broad approach.
Okay.
So it's harder than ever to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, especially in a market as competitive as Springfield. Properties move fast, prices shift constantly, and finding a realtor that is the right fit feels overwhelming. Add in financing hurdles or the pressure to stand out, and it's easy to feel overwhelmed. I've seen the stress it causes. People second guess every decision, unsure who to trust, afraid of making costly mistake on what might be the biggest financial move of their life. That's where I come in. I'm a Springfield native who sold more than 1,000 homes, personally flipped over 20, and guided hundreds of people through this exact moment. I bring experience, creativity, and calm to the chaos. I treat every deal like it matters because it does. When it's all said and done, I want you to walk away with more than just a successful transaction. I want you to feel confident, relieved, and proud that you made the right move because you had someone in your corner who knew how to get you there. So,
Okay.
I'm not going to reveal who that is about, but let's just say that after our discussion, our rants about real estate, um, I'm working
Okay.
with someone. So
I like that. One thing you may, this is just me, and take it grain of salt.
it's go for it. Always looking for
When you, unless I misheard it, there was something about I want you to feel confident, secure, blah, 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 and it felt selfish.
ha.
What I would have rather heard is imagine feeling,
There you
and
go.
then that brings them back into their own head. That
Yeah.
brings them into their mind, and then they're imagining feeling confident, secure, peaceful, at ease, all
Yes.
of those things.
I like that. That's good. Thank you for the feedback.
Okay. So just take it for what it is. If it doesn't
No.
match the
Hey,
what you're
man,
looking
like
for,
that.
go ahead. But the sooner you can bring them into their own mind, they start picturing themselves as that client. They see
Yeah.
themselves as that hero in the journey.
Yeah. So here's one that is, it has an offer on screen. This is an
Okay.
ad that's going to be airing very soon
Okay.
across the socials.
Okay.
But this is for a gym. This one's very short.
Okay.
So this is again where I said like that last one was longer. This one's very short.
Okay.
And so, yes, I do think you can do it in 30 seconds or less.
Okay.
Okay. As a busy mom, it seems like there's never enough time to get in a great workout. But if you don't take care of yourself, how will you take care of your family? That's why our workouts are designed to maximize your results with a short 45-minute session. In just a couple weeks, you'll have more energy and stamina so you can be your best for those who matter most. Are you ready to kickstart your fitness journey? So it's more of a
Okay.
question than it is an offer, but
Yeah.
that's where the actual offer is on screen as a button. They click that. You go to a landing page where we capture information and they have the opportunity to um, start a 2-week trial. But
Okay.
anyway, again, short. So that's the
Yeah.
idea, you know,
That was quick. It was real easy to identify who the market was.
right?
It was real easy to identify what it was you were offering, how you offer it. Then are you the person who wants it and are you ready for it right this minute?
Right. Yeah, that's the one I would say is the best example,
Mhm. No,
um,
I could see it.
because, we're
I
we could choose to go after a different market that is in their target market, but if
Right.
you really
I
think about
All
it,
of those pieces of that, I feel like we're on point except for the emotion part. You touched on it, but you didn't drag them into it. And I think
right,
dragging them into it is saying, imagine yourself, or do you see yourself as someone who wants this? Or do you feel it needs to say something that's kinesthetic? It needs to have a think, feel, see, or yeah. There needs to be something else.
are you saying in the emotion part or in the happy ending?
Yes. In the emotion part where you're
So you
bringing them
don't
in.
think
Like,
that but if you don't take care of yourself, how will you take care of your family is strong enough? Okay, so let's make it
Like,
stronger.
how would you
Let's
take care
workshop
of
it.
your like, if you don't take care of yourself, how will you take care of your family? You're putting them in a position to need to defend their reasoning for not doing it.
Okay, keep going.
So, I feel like because you're binging on their sense of self-identity, you're saying who you are and what you're doing isn't good enough and you need to change. And they're like, "I make my own decisions. I'm smart enough to do so, and I think I have enough value in myself to see myself as somebody who is taking care of my family. Thank you very much." Even when they're not. So what you have to do is instead say, imagine not being able to take care of them because you weren't in the proper shape. Here, we offer you the ability to do that, and now they're like, "Oh, that's what I want."
I will give you that. I think that I think that that probably has more of a universal appeal.
It's
Imagine
just
not
a
being
little
able to
more
take care of
emotional if you were trying to go with that emotion. I know that if I'm only listening to that for a couple of seconds, if I already saw myself as someone who was interested in working out, the first ad's perfect. But if I didn't, that would drag me to the place where I had to be honest with myself and change the way I saw myself as someone who is needing to make that change.
sure. The only pushback I would have
Okay.
is you're not a busy mom. And based on my research
Okay.
and the busy moms I've talked to, this resonated. That
Okay.
that thing of like, because women, moms especially, have a tendency to take care of everyone else first,
Absolutely.
right? And so I
Yeah.
think maybe that's part of we can I,
Well, I
I'm
think
not
the
saying that
message I'm
I'm
not saying
taking
that the
your
message doesn't isn't there. The message is
correct.
there. I just think the emotional pull could be a tiny bit stronger. But maybe as a mom, as a busy mom, they're already in that emotional state. They don't need that pull in.
I
Maybe
think that's
it's
it.
because I'm a dude, I need that because I don't spend time in
Right,
emotion. You know what I mean?
right.
I'm most of the time in logic and I need to be pulled into emotion to feel it and experience it to make that decision, to get that
Right.
push.
But I do think it could be tweaked. So this is the beautiful thing. Like,
A/B test
so
it. Who cares?
that's exactly what I was getting ready to say. So let's talk about, again, Eric Yoon. What did he say? He takes 10 different versions, right? Spends 20
I
bucks
thought
on
that
each
was
one.
genius and
Yeah,
never double down on the one that isn't working. Test
right,
10, $20 on all these and don't spend 200 on one that isn't hot, that
right.
isn't clicking.
Exactly.
So, yeah, okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense. And
So
yeah, you did it all in a tiny amount of time. Like, I was like, I didn't ever see that. I couldn't imagine it in my mind until you did it.
yeah. I mean, the thing is like it's so easy to use more words.
Yeah,
It's very difficult to refine those words and make
to
them
make it
impactful in a short
concise.
period, right? But
Mhm.
I think that's
It-
where you have to revisit and revisit and revisit. So
I,
again,
I
we talk
do
about AI
think,
all the time, right?
yeah, and I
Like,
think iterate, because honestly, if you'd have asked me, hey, try and do something for an exercise play for moms, I'd be like, I got nothing. I got nothing.
right,
But
right,
when you have a place to start from, then you can say, "Oh, I can see on the map where we're generally at."
yeah,
Before that, it's an infinite possibility, and it's just overwhelming.
right,
Versus
right,
saying, "Okay, we picked an area," and you go, "It doesn't feel quite right." Now you've got a place to move from and towards.
right.
So
So,
yeah,
like
I think it's
in
good either way. I think it's worth starting it.
right, and so
Yeah,
we
for
talk
sure.
about AI a lot, right? Um, we talk about how we're using AI to work on our things to make them better and all
Right.
that. So this is a case where I would take that ad um, and go into ChatGPT or Grok or whatever, and basically say, okay, give me, let's make this more emotional. What are some ways that I can make this more emotional? Give me 3 suggestions, right?
Right.
So it is things like that because uh, unless we're sitting in like a meeting, right, and we're
Mhm.
whiteboarding, we're writing ideas,
Right.
it's very difficult to just come up with ideas.
Come up with ideas off the yeah, off the cuff
Yeah,
is
yeah.
impossible.
So
I have found too that working with AI, it's really about the prompt. And it's
oh
really
yeah,
interesting because I've gotten to where now when my chat is he pushes back. He, she, it,
nice.
I don't know. Pushes back all the time. I'm like, I need this to be much more emotional. And it's like, for whom? Okay, let me describe who it
You
is that
created a
I'm
monster.
targeting because it's like you can't just make it more what and which emotion are you wanting to lean into and
Right,
in what way and how deeply and whatever and then what's the point of doing that? And I'm
right,
like, okay, so it's I'll try and give it a small little thing like just do that for me, and it's like, okay, here's 20 questions that I need answered before I can make that tiny shift. And it doesn't matter if I'm adjusting an image for a thumbnail or because I'll think, we'll make it do this, do this, do this. And then it's this really specific thing. And I'm like, can you make it more universal? And it's like, you want me to water it down and get rid of all of what we just
right,
did? And I'm like,
right,
no, keep everything we have, but make it that, but make it more universal. And it's like, there's not that. That
right,
doesn't exist. You can't be specific and broad at the same time. You have to be one or the other. And
right.
so it does give me push, but I have to train it to give me pushback so that it's not telling me that's a great idea. And then it just gives me something. It is brutally honest
Yeah,
with me. And I need that because I get in my own head and I get this thing and I start heading down this path. And if it just kept reinforcing my misaligned target, like we would end up way wrong.
right, right.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
it
that's
really is
why
a tool. I've I'll tell you what, it's a shovel that will help you dig a hole in the wrong area much faster than you
that's
would by
very,
yourself.
very true. Yeah, specifically in when I'm like trying to refine some messaging, when I feel like I have a decent rough draft, I'll go to ChatGPT. I'll explain what I'm trying to accomplish. Here's the goal. Here is the
Right.
framework I'm using. I'll have explained like that
Here's what it
combination
yeah, here's
of
what I have.
this
Here's
and
what I right.
the hero's journey and all these things. And here's what I'm trying to accomplish. And the customer is the hero, all that stuff. And
Right.
I will say, I do not need a yes man answer. I have, I could probably be a little more efficient with my prompts, but
Right.
I have found what works for me, and I just copy and paste. I use those same prompts over and over and over. That's actually, pro tip here: save your prompts. Keep a library of your prompts that
Okay.
work. Um, and I mean, I know you probably do that, but for anyone else, that way you're not having to remember every time. Oh, how did I word this? Um,
Yes.
that I find that very, very helpful. Um, what else? Actually, you know what? We did not prep for this at all, but I know that you don't need prep. Um, I would
Okay.
uh, thinking along the lines of hero and victim and guide and all that stuff, right? I was thinking
Okay.
about I was having a conversation with someone this morning, and the pit in the helicopter.
Yep.
So the hero's journey reminded me of that, right? So
Right.
I was explaining that to them, and I feel like I have a
Okay.
pretty good understanding.
Uh-huh.
of that. But could you give us a rundown of the pit and the helicopter and what it means for mindset and, you know, the pit and the stuff?
Oh, man. You know what? Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Um, but I can tell you the last time you and I discussed it specifically was with someone who presented it. And we did a
Yes.
whole marker board thing and did the
Yep.
presentation and did it. And that's been minimum 3 years ago.
Oh, I think it was 5.
Yeah. So minimum. Yeah, it was probably closer to five
I
because it was
actually
a
think it
couple
was
of years before
2019.
we moved, right?
Yeah.
And so the number of times that it's replayed in your head versus the number of times that it's replayed in mine, we have diverged now.
Yes.
I'm guessing to a point where when I describe it, you'll go, no, no, not that. I'm thinking of the one that's this.
Well, I whatever you've got, I wanna hear. How about that?
Okay. So anyway, I'm prepping for your face,
I
right? The,
understand.
the facial expression you're going to give me when you're like, that's not what I remember.
When
So
when did when did there when was there a canoe in it? I don't understand.
right. Well, two and so many times too, I've heard it explained by somebody that I think was extraordinarily familiar with it and did an amazing job of explaining it and would explain in a way that sorry, my she's there and it looks like the clubs are gone, but they are selling a box of grips
I mean, get the
for
grips, right?
golfing. Anyway, sorry.
Oh, no.
Um, yeah. Um, so anyway, he explained it so many different times. One time it is helicopter in a pit, and it's basically there's a pit, and when you're in it, you can't see basically, like, forest through the trees. Like you're stuck in your problem, in your issue, in your thing. And it's sort of a way of looking at it that is seemingly counterintuitive because too often people are like, well, we need to be mindful. Well, being mindful is being very aware of your current situation, your current and present predicament or things
Okay.
that are going on. And being in a helicopter, which is being above the problem, being taking and looking at it from a semi-detached way, is to see the problem for what it is a temporary problem, a temporary thing.
Right.
Being able to see off into the distance and see time and see space and to see that this is just a blip. This is just a page in the chapter. This isn't the end of it all. But when we're in the pit, we feel like this is it. This is
Yeah.
I'm stuck here. This is where I'm going to die. This is it. And he's explained it multiple times, like in an elevator. When you're on the bottom floor of a building, you don't see anything other than the parking lot, which is boring. But when you take the elevator up, boom, now you can see where you sit within the city and within. So you see an overview or a larger picture of you, your life, your problem, your situation, your everything.
Yeah.
And so when you're thinking of it in that way, and if you were to try to relate it to the hero's journey, the hero's journey starts at the bottom where they think they're the victim. And it's
Right.
only when the helicopter comes and goes, "Hey, come here, hop, climb the ladder." They don't save them by landing and picking them up. They lower a ladder. And I don't remember if you remember the artwork,
Yep.
but they lower a ladder and they say climb. And
Yeah.
it's only through their own efforts and their ability, because if the helicopter just grabbed him, picked him up, and just flew him up to the top, they would immediately see things differently and not believe it. Not believe it's true and not believe that they could accomplish it or that they could do it. Versus
Sure.
climbing the ladder, each step that they take, they are seeing their own accomplishments, putting in their own efforts, and seeing that they're the ones instilling and instituting the change. Now,
Yeah.
it's hard to climb a ladder. If you've ever climbed a rope ladder, like it's incredibly difficult. Unless somebody's at the top going, come on, you can make it. One more, just one more. Keep
Right.
going. Lock your arm in, put your elbow, take a rest. Now let's go again, go again. So it's that guide that's helping them up so that then when they reach the top of that elevator, they can then look and appreciate what they've just accomplished, which is climbing themselves out, and not just out to fall into another pit, but to see the larger picture and say, there's a lot of pits between here and there, but my God, I love what's at the end. I can make my way through all of those and go for it
Yeah.
because each are only temporary. So
Right.
it's a way to kind of get to see I'm different. I don't have to be stuck in the pit forever. So it's kind of
Yeah.
it's learning acceptance of the pits happen, right?
Right.
There's going to be pits. It's not that, oh, now I'm out of the pit. Now I'm just going to be free and clear and I'm going to walk. The helicopter doesn't fly you. It
Right.
just allows you to see, and then you have to go and start your journey. You have to take your own journey. It doesn't fly you there. It just gives you a different perspective,
Very cool.
only for a moment.
Yeah. So
That's
the
my understanding. So I
yeah,
don't know
no,
if
that
that's
was
the way you
great.
remember it or okay.
Yeah. So the where I used it was very similar. It was
Okay.
explaining that, but the person was talking about they're in recovery.
Okay.
And so they were talking about like their first 6 months being just like amazing, right? Just great.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden in the last month and a half or so, it's been really difficult. And so in this like situation, I was talking about the pit, right? So like in the pit, you were in this pit for 14 years.
Uh-huh.
You're very comfortable in the pit. You know where everything is. It's a very familiar place, right?
Yep. Right.
And the second you are out of the pit and you're out and you see this new territory that you do not know, you don't know which way is left or right. Like it's all new territory. You're not familiar with it. It's
Yep.
exciting, but it's a little scary. And your tendency might be at times to crawl back into the pit
Right.
because it's familiar.
Mhm.
And so
It's
that's kind of
uncomfortable, it's painful, all of
right.
these things,
Like
but
this
it's
is my pain
still
and I hate it, but this is I'm comfortable with it. Right.
right.
And so that's kind of how we used it. I previously, kind of you've talked about before like neural pathways,
Uh-huh.
and how it's like you create ruts.
Yep.
And so that had been previously a part of our conversation, where you're having to, you know, well, you say it, you talk about the neural
Yeah, you're
pathways.
you're having to now break up that well-worn neural pathway and create new ones. Well, luckily our brains they have neuroplasticity. We can do that. But it's spending enough time out of the rut, out of that pit in discomfort, accepting that it's going to be uncomfortable and doing it anyway for
Yeah.
those neural pathways to start to reinforce themselves. My thought is this, like so often people think, especially in recovery and in all of these things, it's like once you're out of the pit, you have to stay out of the pit forever. No, you don't. And you shouldn't. In fact, you should climb back in and you go, like, this isn't what I remember.
Right.
Yes, because now that other pathway has loosened and your new one is darkening. And so then as you get back out, you go, this feels a little bit better and slightly familiar. It can't seem familiar until what? Until it's not there. And then you
Right.
see it again. It's like when you see somebody across the room, you haven't seen them for a really long time. You see somebody at the airport or whatever, and you go, is that my cousin? Because there's something that reminds you of them and they seem very familiar. Or I've seen you somewhere. I've met you somewhere before. Well, if they were with you the entire time, you'd never be able to say, hey, you look familiar. Of course they do. They're with you all the time. It's only with that distance that you then get that sense of familiarity.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to get out of the pit and then you have to get back in it. And when you get back in it, you go, I don't like it.
I don't
It
like
doesn't
it.
feel
Right.
as good as it did. Like it's sort of like smokers, man alive. I used to smoke and so I smoked cigarettes and I remember liking them. Then you
Right.
stopped. And then I thought, you know what? I'm never going to smoke again. Then I said to myself, you know what? Screw it. Like I was at a place we are having a barbecue drinks, and when we barbecued, that was when I used to smoke the most. When I having a barbecue, I'm already smelling smoke anyway. I might as well have a filter. And I took a drag on the cigarette, and I thought I'm going to smoke one. I took one drag, and I thought I had licked the bottom of an ashtray at a gas station. Like it was so disgusting. I was like, oh my God, what did I ever? I can't get the taste out of my mouth now. Like it absolutely killed the memory
Yeah.
of what I had been chasing for, I don't know, 4 or 5 months. I'd smell somebody smoking from across a parking lot and being like, man, I remember when kind of thing. And it was this positive reminiscence, distance makes the heart grow fonder. And
Yeah.
so when I took it again, I was like, oh my God, I haven't had the desire again because now I'm reminded of that nastiness. Like it is
Yeah.
foul. And I'm like, nope. It took a long time. In fact, the barbecue didn't taste as good when I ate the food because I had already like ashed my mouth up. It was
Right.
disgusting. And so I'm like, nope, nope, I'm not, I have no desire to go down that path again. You have to get back in the pit to get back out. And it's not the same pit. That's the problem, that most people think they get out and they stand next to it and then they fall back in and then they're like, see, I'm a bad person. No, you're still heading in your journey. There's just another pit. It's not as big. It's not as deep, because really you have to dig your own pits. You're stepping in a pothole and you don't like it, but
Yeah.
it feels familiar. So you stand in it for a while and then you're like, this isn't what I thought. This isn't what I remember. And you get back
Yeah.
out and you go. It's easier to get out. It's easier to keep going.
Right.
And
Right.
pretty soon it becomes easier to spot the potholes and decide to avoid them, because they look familiar, but they don't feel the same. And then pretty soon they don't look or feel even remotely good, and you just keep heading on.
Right.
So, yeah, I get it. But I think that the helicopter part, well, yes, it drops you off just outside the pit when it does drop you off. But when you climb that ladder, you get to see that the world is full of a bunch of pits. You
Right.
just got stuck in one for a long time, or for however long.
Yeah.
And so you can keep going. It's kind of like a hole where if you stand up, you can see out of it. But we just get so tired that we sit down and then that's all we can see. And we think that's all there is.
Right. Right.
And so I don't think there's any pit too deep you can't get out of.
Well,
I
I
just
think
think
the part,
we fool ourselves by laying down in the bottom or by sitting down instead of standing up and being like, okay, I'm ready. Whoop,
right.
and then getting. And sometimes, yes, sometimes you're so weakened that you need somebody to help pull you out.
Yes. Yes.
But
like Neil Diamond says in Brother Love's Travel and Salvation show, you've got one hand and it's out there to lift your brother up, like
right. And
old
you can
song,
help
but
pull people out. It's like, it goes back to that swimming pool analogy that I do all the time, where you jump
yeah.
in a freezing cold swimming pool and you can stay in it. If you stay in it long enough, then your body acclimates to the freezing cold water. And then to get out, it feels even colder. And so you think, no, I can never get out. And it's like, yes, you can. And sometimes you need someone to drag you out, dry you off, and tell you you're fine. And then you're like, oh, I guess I am.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And, not to, so in thinking of like that analogy, right, and like helping people,
right,
you don't want to be an enabler. You don't want to let that person drag you down into the pit also.
Right. I'm like the enabler. They're begging you to get in the pool with them, and you're
right,
like,
right.
So,
right.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah. And there are times where it's like, you have to, we're trying to encourage someone. We're trying to help them kind of, see through their issues and realize that they can climb up the ladder.
Right.
But literally at a certain point, you got to cut that ladder and you got to keep going, or you're not going to get anywhere. So
right.
That's a whole other conversation.
That is a completely different conversation.
It really is. But, so, you know how it is. We speak in analogies, and I actually think that today we did a good job of not breaking any analogies. So we should stop, because normally
let's just quit right here while we're ahead before we do the yes but thing or the yes and. Let's not do that.
Yeah. Well, cool, man.
Okay.
Well, I know we're gonna be traveling here for the next 9 days or so. Probably won't have a chance to get together next week, but until we meet again, mind your business. Hey, this is CJ. Are you interested in step-by-step walkthroughs of the tactics we're using to grow our businesses? Then check out season 7 of the Grow an Online Business podcast. Formerly released exclusively to our Minding Your Business After Hours patrons, these episodes are available to listen to now for free. Search Grow an Online Business on Spotify or follow the link in the podcast notes to go directly to episode 1 of season 7. Hey, thanks for listening to the Minding Your Business podcast. Your hosts are Aaron Gerals and me, CJ Jolliffe. If you want to find out more about us or when we're going live or follow us on socials, just go to our website, mybpodcast.com. And again, thank you so much for listening.